Hi folks, and welcome to today's video, how to practice good spine hygiene with a lumbar herniated bulging disc. Now, I do make a lot of great content for those folks out there suffering with low back pain issues, such as sciatica, herniated discs, bulging discs, lumbar stenosis, lumbar arthritis. If that's you, hit that subscribe button. You'll be notified when I upload some great new content for you to get you back on the road to recovery. But without further ado, let's get into today's video. So folks, I want to talk about how to practice good spine hygiene. Now, you may have been to your physiotherapist, they've told you you need to, lift correctly. You need to keep your back flat when you lift. What does it actually mean? What they're trying to do, hopefully, is give you homework to do at home. And the reason for this is, it seems quite common sense, but I'll explain it. You've got approximately 168 hours in the week. Well, not approximately, you do have 160 hours in the week. If you go to the best physio in the world for 3 hours a week, that leaves another 165 hours to screw things up completely. And many people do by not practicing good spine hygiene. Now, I've kind of encapsulated this in the acronym of my name. I call the website I have bashbackpain.com. What does the BASH stand for? Actually, BASH is an acronym for B for bracing, A, avoiding flexion before noon, S for support, and H for hip hinging. And all those things are actually encapsulated in good spine hygiene. So let me get a little bit deeper here. When we have a low back disc injury, bulging, herniated, even when we've stressed the muscles, okay, we essentially have injured that area. It's like we've cut our fingers or cut our arm, we have a stress response, inflammation response, okay? We need to avoid stressing that area any further because we want to encourage healing, we want to relieve the stress so the body gets a chance to heal. By practicing good spine hygiene, we take the stress off that area and encourage the healing process. Many people basically end up hurting themselves during the process. They keep going, one step forward, 2 steps back. I've come across many people who've gone through that period. And if the rehabilitation period is not followed strictly, correctly in the first instance, it has been shown that they will have a much longer recovery period when they do start addressing those issues. So good spinal hygiene is very important. So let's just go through some of the things you want to be working at home. So one of the things I mentioned was avoiding flexion before noon. It's the A of my BASH, okay? Now there's a video which is separate on that, which is going to pop up at the end of this one, so make sure you watch to the end. But avoiding flexion before noon is essentially avoiding flexing my spine in the first 4 hours of the day. That means I've got to be pretty much standing most of that time. I want to be consciously not bending over, okay? And this moves into my other section, which is support, S, okay? The BASH, the S from BASH. When I go to brush my teeth, instead of just leaning forward and brushing my teeth, I put my hand there for support, takes the upper body weight. I can hip hinge, that's the H from BASH, hip hinge my hips back, hold myself in that position, and I'm not super extending my spine. I'm not engaging these muscles when trying to lift with them. I'm just putting it in a neutral position, hip hinging back, supporting. I can now brush my teeth. Same thing with putting your shoes on. You want to have some sort of small step, okay, in front of you. I can put my foot on, I can hinge my hips, I can tie my shoes, all right? Or you would choose to sit on something reasonably high and I can tie my shoes from there. Don't be bending over to put my shoes on like this. If you're doing this numerous times a day, you are going to put more stress on your spine, on your back, okay? You're not practicing good spine hygiene. You need to be much more mindful of how you actually move. I've had a couple of clients who've managed to hurt themselves when they're out just going for a walk or doing some general activities because they had been other things in their mind, maybe a bit stressed. You've got to be mindful of what you're actually doing, the particular activity you're doing. Be mindful of the area you're walking in, be mindful of the area you're working in, etc. And be much more aware because you do have an injury which you're trying not to exacerbate, okay? Now, lifting correctly, again, there's something that could be the vacuum cleaner you're moving, it could be the shopping. So something simple like the shopping, for example, if I've got 2 bags of groceries, I'm not going to put them in both in one hand because I'm going to be all over to one side. Spinal side flexion here, a lot of stress in the spine. I want to have a bag on each side, bend my knees, pick them up. I'm equally weighted on each side. Small steps, not large steps, because you're going to put a lot of stress as you take each footprint. That is practicing good spine hygiene. Vacuuming, okay? This is quite funny. I was talking to a lady a couple of weeks ago. We were just chatting about this, how she's doing her vacuuming, and this is how you should do it. Vacuum in front of you, like so, even if it's one of the long arms or the upright, and you move behind it. Don't be getting into the one-hand motion, because that's, again, rotational stress on the spine, okay? Now, a lot of these things, especially the avoiding flexion before noon, that's the first 4 weeks period. I tend to encourage that when the initial injury has happened. Then we want to engage in gentle, controlled spinal flexion and extension. The simplest way to do that is either from a cat-cow, cat-camel exercise, where we're here on the floor, there's very little stress on my spine, and I gently go into a rounded position and an extended position. Now, I don't ask people to go to the full end range, okay? Because that can bring on symptoms, sciatica nerve pain issues if they're existing. It can damage the area if they're going too aggressively. So what I say to people is, look, get into your neutral position and then just go 25% up, 25% down. Maybe 10, 12, 14 times in total. So I'm working this in the pain-free range, but I'm gently mobilizing the lower back region and the thoracic as well. Because remember, the spine, it does allow for flexion. Once you're back to being healthy again, you will have to encourage flexion of the spine because it naturally does move that way. Okay, it's good to practice both. But you want to do it in a nice, safe, progressive, good spinal hygiene way. You can also do what's called pelvic tilts, where we're here like this. You just put one hand on the stomach, one hand on the back, and it's very gently squeeze my glutes, tuck my tail under, and extend. Squeeze under and extend. This is much more gentle, just focuses on the lower back lumbar region. But again, you don't want to go to full range. I like to do it 25% one direction, 25% the other direction from the center, from the neutral position. That way we avoid going into that pain spiking area, okay? So you want to be doing these things in the pain-free range. You want to be practicing these daily spine hygiene habits, as it says, daily, okay? You're mindful of how you move. You may think you're going to be a bit of a robot for the first 4 weeks or so. That's okay, okay? I was the same way when I had my full herniation, etc. You know, I was picking up objects from a table like a pen. I was walking up really close to it, hip hinging, taking the object, moving away. And I did that for 4 or 6 weeks until I felt more comfortable. And then I started bringing in the cat-camel, cat-cow, pelvic tilt, etc. And then I would start doing a little bit of flexion because the spine has to learn how to flex again. But unless you are practicing some of these good spine hygiene tips, you will not get the full benefit of your physiotherapy rehab work that you're doing. So please implement that practice, okay? As I said, guys, a couple of videos are going to pop up in a second. It's going to be the avoiding flexion before noon. It goes more into the details, more into the research. There was actually research behind it, why it was so successful. And also I've got a daily activities video is going to pop up, which is going to show you about how you can support yourself and do various activities by using external support to get you through the day and avoid exacerbating those existing pain conditions. Guys, listen, I hope this video was useful for you. If you've got any questions, comments, hit me up in the comment section down below. Don't forget you can reach out to me directly, either by email, or you can book a free advice call. I am here to help as many people as possible. I do get back to emails. It might take me a week or so to do it, but you will get a response. All right, guys, have a great week, and I'll see you next time.